When you get into language learning, you will come across a lot of new information. And you will also forget a lot of information too. Many people get so upset at themselves because they forget what they have learned. It might be because they have an ultra competitive personality. It could also be because of a teacher that they had when they were younger who insulted them for forgetting. Whatever is the case, there's no reason to become upset at yourself for forgetting. If you are excited about what we are discussing, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications bell, leave a comment, like and share this video with your friends, and now let's get started. When talking about learning vocabulary, forgetting is actually a part of learning, and you have to accept this fact. And you can think about it as if it were a person. There is what we call the first contact at this stage. The new material is just a stranger for you, and you don't know much about it. There's just been an introduction. However, over time, if you have repeated contact with it, it will become familiar to you. It's no longer a stranger to you. Over time, you will go through 3 stages. We have the stranger, we have the acquaintance, and we have the friend. The vocabulary that you learn is a stranger to you, and then it becomes an acquaintance to you through your repeated contact with it. Just because it's an acquaintance does not mean that you're close to it or you're committed to it. But in time, it becomes a friend. When you need it, it's there for you. So now, the vocabulary is yours. You have committed it to memory, and you know what it means and how to use it and how it works. So, just remember that we have with our vocabulary 3 stages. The stranger, then the acquaintance, and friend. We have the first contact with the word. It's new for you. You don't know it. It's completely different. But over time, as you have repeated contact with it, continuous contact, it's no longer a stranger. It's an acquaintance. And over time, it becomes a friend. The vocabulary is now in your control. You can use it as well. It takes time. Remember, there's nothing wrong with forgetting. We learn, we forget, and then we remember over time. So, as I mentioned before, forgetting is a part of the learning experience. But in the case of the vocabulary, how much exposure do you need before finally it really sticks with you? So, there is no real set number of it, but estimates for necessary exposure range from at least 7 times to 17 times. So, that means that if you learn the word dark for the first time, for example, maybe you won't remember it. After the first time, and the second time, the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time, the sixth time, it's after the 7th exposure that you might start to remember it. But the estimates range from 7 up to 17th time of exposure before a word really sticks with you and really commits with you. And when I say exposure, that does not mean that you drill the word 17 times in one day and that you shall expect to know it for the rest of your life. No, no, no. Exposure will come from many sources. Maybe the first time you see it, it's from a WordPress. And then the second time you come across the word in a book. The third exposure, and my favorite, might come from a TV show. The first time you might see it in a textbook or a message, and so forth. So, you shouldn't be angry at yourself when you forget the meaning. Again, I want to keep reminding you about this. Don't be angry at yourself if you forget the meaning of a word. If you have just learned it, you've just learned it. It's new for you. You simply need exposure, and over time, the word will begin to stick with you, and it becomes part of what you have access to in your vocabulary. Okay, That's it for now. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications bell, leave a comment, like and share this video with your friends. Until then, see you next time. Goodbye.